The ocean thrashed violently that evening, waves crashing like they had secrets they couldn't keep. The wind tore across the empty stretch of golden sand, carrying a chill that bit through the skin. Barefoot, Daniel ran, each step sinking into the wet sand. His chest heaving, not just from the sprint, but from the fear gnawing at him from the inside. He wasn't running for himself. He was running because someone's life hung in the balance. Near the water's edge, a woman lay limp, the tide tugging at her arms and legs, as if the sea itself didn't want to let her go. Panic gripped him, but he didn't hesitate. Dropping to his knees, hands shaking, he pressed his palms to her chest, feeling nothing but cold silence. "Come on. Come back," he rasped, teeth clenched, voice cracking. "Just breathe. Please, breathe." Daniel wasn't new to fear. He had walked through storms of loss that no one had seen, fought battles that left scars no one could measure. But this was different. This was now. A life dangling by a thread, a stranger whose heartbeat might still return if he didn't give up. And as he leaned over her, forcing breath into her lungs, counting every pulse, every second, the universe quietly wove their fates together. Before we go any deeper into this heart-stopping story, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness, so you never miss a story that grips your heart and refuses to let go. Her name was Isabella Hartley. To the world, she was untouchable, a brilliant billionaire, building empires from her family's fortune, commanding boardrooms with a presence that made people stop and stare, and filling headlines with every move she made. She was someone everyone admired, maybe even envied, but on that fateful day, stripped of status, swallowed by the sea, she was nothing but a woman fighting for her life. Daniel didn't know her name, and in that instant, none of it mattered. He saw only a fragile chest rising and falling with struggle, a pale face slowly regaining color as he battled against time itself, and then, miraculously, her eyes fluttered open ocean blue, wide and confused. Relief crashed through Daniel like a wave breaking after a storm. "You're safe," he whispered, voice raw, trembling, his face just inches from hers. "You're safe now." For a heartbeat, she thought he might be an angel sent from nowhere. But the sweat on his brow, the shaking of his hands, the exhaustion etched into every line of his face reminded her he was just a man who refused to let a stranger die. Daniel's life was humble, far from the glittering world Isabella knew. He was a carpenter, his mornings spent sanding wood, evenings cooking for his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, and nights tucking her in with stories that always ended with hope. Life had hit hard since his wife passed, but Lily was his anchor, his reason for moving forward every single day. The next morning, Isabella found herself searching for him. Her security team tried to dismiss it. Why would a billionaire chase after a stranger on a beach? But she couldn't shake the memory of his voice, the fierce determination in his eyes, the way he refused to let her go. She had to find him, had to see the man who saved her life. She found him in a small coastal workshop, the air thick with the scent of cedar and fresh varnish, shavings scattered across the floor like a forest floor caught in time. At first, he didn't recognize her. To Daniel, she was just the woman he had pulled from the edge of death. But to Isabella, he was the only man who had ever truly looked at her, not at her wealth, not at her fame, but at the person beneath it all. "Thank you," she said quietly, her voice barely rising above the hum of the workshop, as she watched him lift his eyes from the wood. "You didn't just save me, You reminded me what it feels like to be alive." Daniel nodded, rubbing his hands on a rag. Anyone could have done the same, he would have said. But Isabella knew better. Most people would have panicked, frozen, turned away. He didn't. He fought for her, against the tide, against the odds, against fear itself. And in that quiet workshop, surrounded by the honest simplicity of his life, Isabella felt something she hadn't felt in years: peace. Real, grounding, quiet peace. Days turned into weeks, and she kept returning. Sometimes she brought excuses, ordering furniture, asking for repairs, lingering over small talk, but other times she came with no reason at all. She would just sit in the corner, watching Daniel work, listening to the rhythm of saws and sanding blocks, feeling the world slow down around her. She didn't just want to be near him, she needed to, and Lily chattered endlessly about school, dragons, and fairy tales, her little voice filling every corner of the workshop. She adored Isabella instantly, calling her Miss Bella with such innocence that it made Isabella's heart ache. Despite empires, boardrooms, and endless headlines, Isabella felt humbled by the child's trust. She had attended gala dinners and commanded rooms full of powerful people, but nothing compared to sitting on a worn stool, sharing homemade soup with a little girl who believed kindness was the greatest treasure in the world. But no love story is without shadows. Soon, the world noticed. Headlines screamed about the billionaire spotted with a local carpenter. Cameras followed her every move, critics whispered behind closed doors, and Daniel felt the storm closing in around them. "You don't belong in my world," he said one evening, voice breaking as he watched Lily sleep peacefully. "And I don't belong in yours. You deserve someone who can walk beside you without feeling small." Isabella's eyes burned with unshed tears. "Daniel, when you saved me, you didn't ask if I was rich or poor. You didn't care about anything but life itself. Why should love be any different?" But Daniel's pride, his scars, his fear of never being enough, held him back. For weeks he pulled away, convincing himself it was for the best. Isabella, for the first time in her life, felt powerless not in business, but in love. Then came the turning point one stormy night. Lily's fever spiked dangerously. Daniel, frantic and terrified, raced her to the hospital, only to find Isabella already there. She had heard from a neighbor and dropped everything to be by their side. She held Lily's hand, whispered soothing stories, and stood unwavering beside Daniel as the doctors worked tirelessly. Hours later, when Lily finally smiled weakly and said, "Daddy," "Miss Bella stayed with me the whole time," Daniel broke. Every wall, every fear, every doubt he had built around himself crumbled. In that moment, he realized the truth. Isabella wasn't a billionaire in his daughter's eyes. She wasn't untouchable. She was family. The world tried to tear them apart again, and again gossip columns mocked them. Investors questioned Isabella's judgment. Even some accused Daniel of wanting her money. But through every trial, Isabella stood strong, her hand in his, showing that love isn't measured by bank accounts, it's measured by hearts. And when she finally looked into Daniel's eyes on the very beach where it all began, she whispered, "You saved my life once, but now you've given me a reason to truly live." He kissed her, the waves roaring behind them, not as a reminder of the day she almost died, but as a witness to the day they both began to truly live together.